I'm so glad you're home.
Can't believe how happy I am to be here.
Well, at least you'll have one fond memory of your night in jail.
I can't believe that you did that, Blake. I mean, we actually...
Made love in your jail cell?
Huh.
I think it was exciting.
Well, call me old-fashioned, but I would prefer my good old bed. You know, honey, over the years, I've sent a lot of people to prison. But until a few days ago, I really didn't know what it was like. It's not so much that you're locked in. It's more that all the people that you love are locked out. Maybe forever.
Well, I would have waited for you, even forever. I think it made me want to marry you even more.
We only have one obstacle to overcome, that damnable custody case.
Well, you've had some tough cases before.
Not quite like this one. I mean, I believe in Bridget's cause. But in order to win, I'm probably going to have to destroy the mother of my child. No, Bridget, you don't have to worry about that. You are going to do beautifully. Now, remember, everybody's done their homework. You, me, David.
Let me talk to her.
Bridget, would you hold on? Blake wants to talk to you.
Hey, Bridget, listen, I just want you to know that what I think you're doing is not only brave, but absolutely the right thing.
Oh, Blake, I can't even tell you how much that means to me, coming from Peter's aunt and everything.
Besides, you've got the world's greatest lawyer, so don't worry, okay?
Okay. Thanks. Tell Ross I'll see him in court. Bye.
Just a few questions, please.
Listen, folks, my client will be making no statements.
How about you, Mr. Morrow?
No, I'm
Do
sorry.
you feel your recent arrest might affect these proceedings?
No comment.
Isn't it true that you were suspected of
There will be no comment on anything until after the hearing, all right? I think that's pretty clear. Excuse me.
Just a few questions.
Bridget, good luck today. I really wish that you'd kept Leo as your attorney.
Roger, leave him.
Leo's tough. He knows how to win a case.
He's also lost his share.
Dad, hi. Listen, I thought Mom was going to be here with you.
Well, she wasn't feeling well. Nothing serious. But I'm glad you're here.
I'm okay.
No, you're not. You're about to come out of your skin, I can tell.
Yeah. This is important to me.
I know. You can lean on me today, you know.
I might just do that. Bridget. Again. Good luck.
Thank you.
David, listen, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But if you want to sit with Bridget, I understand.
I think you're right, Kat. Maybe we should sit somewhere more neutral.
Court is in session. All rise. Judge Charlotte Bellman presiding.
Please be seated. In the matter of baby boy Reardon, is counsel ready?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
We are, Your Honor.
Good. Then shall we begin? Marla, the court is ready to hear your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. This court has before it a young woman who has made a mistake. A mistake which has had grievous consequences for many gathered here. But one born out of youth, confusion, but mostly solitude. Some time ago, Bridget Reardon met and fell in love with a young man who did not return her feelings of commitment. When she learned that she was pregnant, she became frightened. She didn't know where to go or what to do. Naturally, she wanted her baby, but she realized she was little more than a child herself. So young and so alone that she no longer trusted the voice within her that said, you can do this, you can learn and grow, and like millions before you, become a good mother. Instead, she She listened only to those people who were involved in this rather insular situation, thinking that their voices were the voices of right and reason. And as a result, Bridget did the hardest thing she's ever had to do, believing that she had no alternative, and with no advice from family, friends, attorneys, or clergy. She signed over her little baby to the Lewises. And she did so because she thought her son needed a family. She thought that her son needed a father, like Billy Lewis. But that family, as defined then, simply no longer exists, and Billy Lewis is completely out of the picture. Your Honor, our case is not based on whether Vanessa Lewis loves or cares for this child better than his biological mother could. No one disputes the fact that this child has been nurtured and well cared for. Our case is based on the fact that if Bridget Reardon had had any advice whatsoever, she never would have made this decision that has brought us here today. You know, most birth mothers, when they give up their babies for adoption, they believe in their hearts that they are doing the right thing because they have had the benefit of self-reflection and outside advice. That was never true. That was never a reality for Bridget Reardon. And she's regretted losing her son ever since, aching with a mother's loss from the very moment she let the boy go. And so she is here today, no doubt still scared, but no longer alone. And Your Honor, she is asking this court to help her undo her mistake. She is asking, and she deserves, to be reunited with her flesh and blood, her little boy, Peter.
Thank you. That was just wonderful.
I'm gonna call Dylan Lewis to the stand first.
Mr. Marler, are you ready with your first witness?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. I would like to call to the stand Mr. Dylan Lewis.
There must be some mistake.
No, don't worry about it. I'm prepared for anything.
But this wasn't in Ross's trial plan.
Wait a minute, how would you know what Ross had planned?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Lewis, where did you go yesterday afternoon?
To the state penitentiary.
And why did you do that?
To visit my father, Billy Lewis.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't see the relevance of this.
I believe you will in a moment, Counselor.
Let's see where he's going with this, Mr. Dickerson.
Was there a specific reason that you went to visit your father yesterday?
He wanted to give me a letter.
And does that letter pertain to this case?
Yes, it does.
Would you do the court a favor and please read this letter out loud?
Objection, Your Honor. This letter's just hearsay. We don't even know if it was written by Billy Lewis.
If it pleases the court, Your Honor, I have the original and a copy to submit as evidence, and Billy Lewis's signature has been notarized.
Would counsel approach the bench? I am going to overrule counsel's objection and allow this letter to be entered as evidence.
Thank you.
You may read the letter out loud for the court's consideration.
Excuse me. Where are you going? I gotta get out of here for just a minute.
Mr. Lewis?
Let me first say that the woman I married, Vanessa Lewis, is as fine a person as I've ever known. A good mother, a good wife, a kind, loving friend, and someone I will love until the day I die. Vanessa always said there's no compromise for the truth. And she was right. I know that now. The adoption of Peter was in fact a personal agreement between Bridget Reardon and myself. We both knew the day might come when Bridget wanted Peter to know she was his birth mother and to be part of his life. I promised Bridget that. I wouldn't stand in her way if she felt that way. I broke a lot of promises before I ended up here in prison. To Bridget, to my wife Vanessa. I know a good part of this ordeal that these two women are facing now is a direct result of those broken promises. And for that, I'm truly sorry. The way I see it, Peter belongs in both these women's lives. I just wish there was a way that both of them could be happy. They both deserve to be. And it's signed Billy Lewis.
Curious, Mr. Lewis. What was your father's position regarding Peter before he went to prison?
His position?
Yes, yes. Did he say that he wanted to share custody with Bridget then?
Objection calls for a conclusion.
Sustained.
Let me put it this way then. Before your father went to prison, did he tell you that he thought that Bridget Reardon should have custody of Peter?
No. He agreed with Vanessa that Peter should belong to them.
Uh-huh. And could you tell the court what Vanessa Lewis's relationship with Billy Lewis is now?
I know she filed for divorce.
Mm-hmm. And is that something that Billy wanted to?
No, not at all.
So then we could draw a fair conclusion that it's only now that Vanessa Lewis has ended their relationship that Billy Lewis has finally seen fit to think that Bridget Reardon's case has some merit.
Objection.
I'll withdraw that, Your Honor. Where do you live, Mr. Lewis?
344 7th Street.
Same address as Bridget Reardon, isn't it?
It's a boarding house. We live in separate rooms.
So...
And our relationship is not sexual, if that's what you're trying to get at.
No. No, not at all. But now I'm curious that you jumped so quickly to that conclusion. What exactly is your relationship with Bridget Reardon, Mr. Lewis?
We're friends.
That's all? Just friends? Or is it more than that? Isn't it true that you're in love with Bridget Reardon, Mr. Lewis? And that you do anything, say anything, to help her?
I object.
Even try to get somebody else to do the same just to help her out?
Your Honor, I object.
I'm going to overrule Mr. Marler.
Yes. I love her.
I'm very pleased with the way it's going.
I expect a favorable verdict. What the hell are you doing in there?
Oh, listen, Ross did a good job.
Oh, he did a great job. He let Dickerson walk all over Bridget.
Look, you want to be a lawyer? Go to school. Hang out a shingle, all right?
Wait a minute. We shouldn't do this. We should be supporting each other, not fighting.
Well, I really blew it up there, didn't I?
Bridget, you did beautiful. Don't worry about it. Besides, we have a lot more ammunition.
Call your next witness, Mr. Marler.
Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Vanessa Lewis. Mrs. Lewis, your attorney, Mr. Dickerson, has indicated that whatever strides Bridget Reardon may have made in her life, her past condemns her as unfit to raise her own child. Now, given that scenario, isn't it true that you were once in exactly the same position as Ms. Reardon? Pregnant, unwilling to tell the father, then giving birth out of wedlock and placing the baby up for adoption?
Yes, it's true.
Then if these are the things that disqualify Bridget Reardon from being a good mother, wouldn't they disqualify you as well?
Objection, Your Honor. My client's personal life 20 years ago has no bearing on this case.
Your Honor, Mr. Dickerson has just used the circumstances of the birth of baby Peter to call into question the character of my client.
Objection overruled.
Thank you. Mrs. Lewis, at what age did you give birth to a child out of wedlock?
It was the summer before I entered college.
Didn't quite answer that question. At what age did you give birth to a child out of wedlock?
At 17 years of age, Counselor.
And did you think that having an illegitimate child indicated some sort of moral deficiency on your part?
Exactly what sort of moral deficiency do you mean?
That you were sexually promiscuous, for example.
I object. This question is irrelevant.
I'd like to answer the question. No, I did not. I did not feel that way then. And I don't feel that way now.
And Mrs. Lewis, did you conceal your pregnancy from the baby's father?
You know I did.
Did you think that would indicate some sort of psychological instability that would have a detrimental effect upon the child?
No.
No. But isn't that what your own attorney wants this court to believe about Bridget Reardon? Are you saying that you do not believe the arguments of your own attorney?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And as far as lawyers and clients go, do you really believe that Bridget believes in what you're doing to me now?
Mrs. Lewis, I would like to clarify a few events surrounding Peter's placement with you last year, which was followed very closely by your marriage to Billy Lewis. Is that correct?
No, it's incorrect. Billy and I were married. Then we adopted Peter.
All right. What was Peter's situation when Mr. Lewis proposed to you?
I don't understand the question.
When Mr. Lewis became aware that Peter was not his biological son, nor that of his ex-wife, did that change his attitude towards the boy?
No, not a bit. He loved Peter. He wanted to keep him. That never changed.
So Mr. Lewis's proposal of marriage to you, it included baby Peter, some sort of pediatric package deal?
Objection. It's irrelevant.
I might argue with the wording of the question, Counselor. However, I do find it relevant.
It's all right, Your Honor. I'm moving on. Your son, Bill, how old was he last year?
11.
Mm-hmm. And you're a loving and devoted mother to him. So devoted that when he was born, you gave up a business career to stay home and raise the boy?
Yes.
Must have taken enormous determination and a lot of hard work, not only to return to business, but to achieve even greater success as president of Spaulding and CEO of Lewis Oil. Am I correct in saying all this?
You're correct in saying it, but I don't understand the significance of what you're saying.
Yes, where are you going, Mr. Marler?
Your Honor, I just want to know how Mrs. Lewis felt at the prospect of giving up everything that she had worked so hard for.
I had to think about it.
Mrs. Lewis, would it be fair to say that you married Mr. Lewis in spite of Peter?
No. No, that would not be fair to say. And I didn't say it. What I did say was that I had to think before I made my decision.
And were you absolutely positive that this baby was unwanted by his biological mother, Bridget Reardon?
I've never claimed that Bridget didn't want Peter. What I have said is that she agreed to a legal adoption.
Wait a minute. How did this agreement take place if it was at odds with Bridget's wishes?
It wasn't at odds with her wishes. Bridget realized she didn't have the means, the support, or the experience to raise a child
Wait a minute. Bridget realized this all by herself. Or did you and Billy Lewis verbally tell her of her supposed inadequacies? I mean, did you actually say to her that she had no means, experience, or support? No?
No. No, not once. Billy didn't and I didn't. We never pressured her. Bridget has told you that. Be ashamed of yourself.
If you would care to have that last statement stricken from the record, Mr. Mahler?
Let it stand. So, what did you and Billy Lewis do to make sure that this young woman, obviously in conflict of some sort, was not pressured? For instance, did you hire an attorney to safeguard her interests?
No, we did not hire an attorney.
Why didn't you do that?
Because Billy was dealing with Bridget, and he dealt with her in his own way. Directly and from the heart.
I see. Mrs. Lewis, did you ever consider including Dr. Edward Bauer in all this? I mean, after all, Dr. Bauer is Bridget Reardon's uncle. You've known him for a long time. His late wife, she was one of your closest friends. My point is, couldn't Dr. Bauer, a successful man and father, have provided the means, experience, and support to his own niece, the means that she needed to raise a child?
Bridget had made me promise not to tell anyone about the pregnancy. I chose not to breach her privacy.
20 years ago, Mrs. Lewis, did you feel alone, frightened, without the means, experience, or support? Despite a loving father and a considerable fortune, how long did it take for you to realize that those fears were exaggerated or even absurd? Not long, I'm sure. Or were you able to give up your baby for adoption with absolutely no regrets?
What do you think I'm going to say? That I had no feelings. Of course I had regrets.
Then why? You of all people. Why can't you see what is crystal clear to many others? That abetted by secrecy and ignorance of the law, you were condemning Bridget Reardon to a lifetime of those very same regrets. Mrs. Lewis. Your Honor, I'm done with this witness.